Chapter 1: The Congress and its Officials. Reader: just at present, there is a home rule wave passing over India. All our countrymen appear to be pinning for national independence. A similar spirit pervades them even in South Africa. Indians seem to be eager to acquire rights. Will you explain your views in this matter? Editor: you have put the question well, but the answer is not easy. One of the objects of a newspaper is to understand popular feelings and to give expression to it. Another is to arouse among the people certain desirable sentiments. And the third is fearlessly to expose popular defects. The exercise of all these three functions is involved in answering your question. To a certain extent, people's will has to be expressed. Certain sentiments will need to be fostered, and defects will have to be brought to light. But as you have asked the question, it's my duty to answer it. Reader: do you then consider that a desire for home rule has been created among us? Editor: that desire gave us rise to National Congress. The choice of the word national implies it. Reader: that surely is not the case. Young India seems to ignore the Congress. It is considered to be an instrument for perpetuating British rule. Editor: that opinion is not justified. Had not the grand old man of India prepared the soil, our young men could not have even spoken about home rule. How can we forget what Mr. Humes has written? How he has lashed us into action, and with what effort he has awakened us in order to achieve the objects of the Congress. Sir William Wedenberg has given his body, mind, and money to the same cause. His writings are worthy to pursue even this day. Professor Gokhale, in order to prepare the nation, embraced poverty and gave 20 years of his life. Even now, he is living in poverty. The late Justice Budruddin Tiebji was also one of those who, through the Congress, sowed the seed of home rule. Similarly, in Bengal, Madras, the Punjab, and other places, there has been lovers of India and members of the Congress, both Indian and English. Reader: stay, you are going too far. You are staying away from my question. I asked you about home rule or self rule. You are discussing foreign rule. I do not desire to hear English names, and you are giving me such names. In these circumstances, I do not think we can ever meet. I shall be pleased if you confine yourself to home rule. All other talk will not satisfy me. Editor: you are impatient. I cannot afford to be likewise. If you bear with me for a while, I think you will find that you will obtain what you want. Remember the old proverb that the tree does not grow in one day. The fact that you have checked me and that you do not want to hear about the well wishers of India shows that you are at any rate, home rule is far away. If you had many like you, we would never make any advance. This thought is worthy of your attention. Reader: it seems to me that you simply want to put off by talking round and round. Those whom consider to be well wishers of India are not such in my estimation. Why then should I listen to your discourse on such people? What has he, whom you consider to be the father of the nation, done for it? He says that the English governors will do justice and that we should cooperate with them. Editor: I must tell you, with all gentleness, that it must be a matter of shame for us that you should speak about the great man in terms of disrespect. Just look at his work. He has dedicated his life to the service of India. We have learnt what we know from him. It was the respected Dadabai who taught us that the English has sucked our lifeblood. What does it matter that today his trust is still is in the English nation? Is Dadabai less to be honored because in the exuberance of youth we are prepared to go a step further? Are we on that account wiser than him? It is a mark of wisdom not to kick away the very step from which we have risen higher. The removal of a step from a staircase brings whole down the whole of it. When, out of infancy, we grow into youth, we do not despise infancy, but on the contrary, we recall the affection, the days of our childhood. If, after many years of study, a teacher were to teach me something, and if I were to build a little more on the foundation laid by that teacher, I would not, on that count, be considered wiser than the teacher. He would always command my respect. Such is the case with Grand Old Man of India. We must admit that he is the author of nationalism. Reader, you have spoken well. I can now understand that we must look upon Mr. Dadabhai with respect. Without him, men like him, we should probably not have the spirit that fires us. How can the same be said of Professor Gokhale? He has constituted himself a great friend of the English. He says that we have to learn a great deal from them and that we have to learn their political wisdom before we can talk of home rule. I'm tired of reading his speeches. Editor, if you are tired, it only betrays your impatience. We believe that those who are discontented with the slowness of their parents and are angry because the parents would not run with their children are considered disrespectful to the parents. Professor Gokhale occupies the place of a parent. What does it matter if he cannot run with us? A nation that is desirous of securing home rule cannot afford to despise its ancestors. We shall become useless if we lack respect for our elders. Only men with mature thoughts are capable of ruling themselves and not the hasty tempered. Moreover, how many Indians were there like Professor Gokhale when he gave himself to Indian education? I verily believe that whatever Professor Gokhale does, he does that with pure intentions, motives, and with a view for serving India. His devotion to the motherland is so great that he would give his life for it if necessary. Whatever he says is said not to flatter anyone, but because he believes it to be true. We are bound, therefore, to entertain the highest regard for him. Reader, are we then to follow him in every respect? Editor, I never said such a thing. If we consensually differed from him, the learned professor himself would advise us to follow the dictates of our conscience rather than him. Our chief purpose is not to decree his work, but to believe that he is infinitely greater than we are, and to feel assured that compared with his work for India, ours is infinitesimal. Several newspapers write disrespectfully of him. It is our duty to protest against such writings. We should consider men like Professor Gokhale to be pillars of home rule. It is bad habit to say that another man's thoughts are bad and ours only are good, and those holding different views from us are enemies of the country. Reader, I now begin to understand somewhat your meaning. I shall have to think the matter over. But what you say about Mr. Hume and Sir William Wittenberg is beyond my comprehension. Editor, the same rule holds good for English as for the Indians. I can never subscribe to the statement that all Englishmen are bad. Many Englishmen desire home rule for India. That the English people are somewhat more selfish than others is true, but that doesn't prove that every Englishman is bad. We who seek justice will have to do justice to others. Sir William does not wish ill to India. That should be enough for us. As we proceed, you will see that if we act justly, India will be sooner free. You will see that, too, if we shun every Englishman as an enemy, home rule will be delayed. But if we are just to them, we shall receive their support in our progress towards the goal. Reader, all this seems to me at present to be simply nonsensical. English support and the obtaining of home rule are two contradictory things. How can the English people tolerate home rule for us? But I do not want you to decide this question for me just yet. To spend time over it is useless. When you have shown how we can have home rule, perhaps I shall understand your views. You have prejudiced me against you by discoursing on English help. I would therefore beseech you not to continue this subject. Editor, I have no desire to do so. That you are prejudiced against me is not a matter of much anxiety. It is well that I should say unpleasant things at the commencement. It is my duty patiently to try to remove your prejudice. Reader, I like that last statement. It emboldens me to say that what I like. One thing still puzzles me. I do not understand how the Congress laid the foundation of Home Rule. Editor, let us see. The Congress brought together Indians from different parts of India and enthused us with the idea of nationality. The government used to look upon it with disfavor. The Congress has always insisted that the nation should control revenue and expenditure. It has always desired self government after the Canadian model. Whether we can get it or not, whether we desire it or not, and whether there is something more desirable are different questions. All I have to show is that the Congress gave us a foretaste of home rule. To deprive it of the honor is not proper. And for us to do so would not only be ungrateful, but retard the fulfillment of our object. To treat the Congress as an institution inimical to our growth as a nation should disable us from using that body.